What's the deal, ladies and gentlemen? We're back with Big Game of Small Talk. We didn't come on yesterday because, yesterday was the Super Bowl, and my team, all the champions. I told you guys. Great football game. Guys, I know you guys, Crap, you're a big football fan. What do you thought about the game, Crap?
I turned it off when it was 28-3. I was like, this shit's boring. I turned it off and started playing video games. I was like, eh. And then,
it did look kind of like it was gonna be a blowout.
Yeah, I mean, it was 28-3. It was almost a fourth quarter. There was like 5 minutes left in the third quarter. It didn't look like it was gonna go good. I was like, this game's over. It's boring. The commercials suck. I'm gonna go play some Candleman. So
hey, Crap, that was like some real live John Tecmo Bowl shit or some John Elway type shit on the NES back in the day. Joe Montana,
dude,
Sega Genesis.
And the funny thing was, I was talking like, here's the thing: I'm not a Falcons fan. I just am a Patriots hater. So I'm sitting there talking all kinds of shit early in the game, and then once it was 28-3, almost fourth quarter, I left Twitter. I was gaming. Then I started getting all these fucking hate messages and shit. Like, what happened now, Crap? Who's the bitch now? And I was like, oh. I was like, how the fuck do you lose? The fucking Browns could have held a 28-3 lead. I was like, how the hell are you gonna lose that lead? You know what I mean? I don't understand it. I was like, that's what you knew he was gonna throw. Come on, the guy fucking throws almost 70 passes. Jesus, come on.
Hey, but who do you think? You give it to Tom or you give it to Bill Belichick for the plays? Because they play call.
Man, I give it to fucking the NFL for paying off whoever because they obviously script that shit.
There we go.
That's so scripted, dude. I mean, look, that shit is scripted. You pay something off. There's no way that
Hey, Trump. Hey, Trump was in a skybox winking his eye.
Hey, Crap, we live on the air, right? Don't start that shit, Crap. We live on the air, man.
No, man, I can just tell that shit's like, that I always, know that like a lot of that stuff is, you pay off a person here or there, and there you go. Hey, who knows? They maybe pay off the offensive coordinator for the Falcons. He's now the coach of the 49ers. You slip him $1 million if you're the NFL, right? And then you're like, hey, here you go. Why don't you call some shit plays in the second half and let the Patriots get back in it? Sure. Why not? Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, you pay Matt Ryan to take a couple sacks? I mean, damn, come on. It's super, super easy. Yeah, man.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I've been telling you. And listen, I'm not no bandwagon guy. I've been talking about the Patriots since I met this guy. I'm a Patriots fan, right? But I was, sometimes I like to see the underdog one. I wouldn't have been, mad if they would have lost to the Falcons and the owner was.
The Falcons never won before, yeah.
I know they were doing a little two-step on the owner of the team. He took the whole organization. I mean, the janitor, everybody from that worked for the Atlanta Falcons. I don't care if you write tickets in the parking lot. You was working in the parking lot. So he took everybody out there to Houston. I thought that was so dope. But it is what it is.
I mean, come on, who fucking blow that lead, man? I wasn't even watching that shit. Not only that, I kind of kicked myself because I like good football, and at first it wasn't. I mean, 28-3, that's a fucking snooze fest, and so I turned it off, and then I would kind of kick myself for missing what ended up being a pretty damn good game.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that. I don't think people are there now. They're on Twitter and Facebook debating that catch was the touchdown was his knee down. But it was a guy that was a hell of a drive.
It was fucking it was like I caught the highlights and shit. It's like one of the things where you can't just count it down to one fucking play. Like the Falcons totally collapsed. How do you collapse? You're an NFL player in the Super Bowl, and you're gonna let them walk all over you.
All they had to do was control the clock. I'm an old school guy when it comes to football, man. I'm a Giants fan. I grew up with Pepper Johnson, Lawrence Taylor. Good defense, control the ball. That's all you had to do. So that
they were doing what you're supposed to do against Brady and the Patriots. Knock him around in the first half, get him frustrated. He starts throwing high, low. I mean, it's like so easy, predictable to tell what's going to happen. Then he throws a pick six. He starts stomping his foot on the ground like a baby. And you're like, they're starting to get to him now. And then next thing you know, they just let up on him or whatever, man. They just
I don't know. What it is. I wasn't interested in the game to begin with. I was rooting for the Falcons because, like I said, I'm a Giants fan, man. Fuck the Patriots, yo. Seriously. But And when I saw that the Falcons were up by so much, I wasn't watching the game. I saw it on Twitter. I saw the score on Twitter.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, yo, game's over. And all of a sudden, I see rumbling, like fucking Patriots fans, like on Twitter, just starting going crazy. We got a chance. And I'm like, really? What the hell happened? And yeah, that I can't believe that, man.
Man, you know what happened? You was sitting at home, you was playing the game, your house started rumbling. You know what I mean? You start getting them incoming Patriots fans and egging your house.
Dude, I live in New England, man. So
I was playing Candleman, so I didn't know anything was going on. It's just damn indie.
Hey, somebody in the
game.
comment section said it was Candleman or was it a crack spoon?
Yeah, it is Candleman, dude. It's that new
It's an indie. It's an indie.
it's that new indie game or whatever.
You done plugged that game about 9 times. You done playing hashtag Candleman. Great game. Check it out.
Good game, $15. It's an import from Japan or China. So yeah.
Hey, can we put that on our list or what?
Oh, actually, you can. Go ahead.
How you find out about it on here on the internet, or how do you find out about it?
I think I seen some people talking about it on Xbox, on Twitter or something.
You got a review copy, or you be reviewing it?
Yeah, yeah.
Mooch Jr.
Crap is the developer of that game, so explains it all.
No.
He's a silent partner.
Started for it.
Right.
Hey, Crap, I know you're like, I know the back of my goddamn hand. Crap is as sleazy as they come, man. Crap, like, motherfucker, we sell your goddamn car, that bitch break down the next day. Crap,
Hey, once it's yours, man, it's yours. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Crap. What's the resolution? I'm really worried. What's the resolution?
on Candleman.
Yeah,
Praise Yoshida. I think it's 1080p.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh shit, we got a winner. Fuck.
Holy shit, that's a genius.
Hey, you know what's funny? earlier this week, man, we were like what we do as BGST on Twitter is we always talk in these private DMs as a group, and there was a lot of funny shit going on in there this week because the media was treating Sony just like they were the fucking most awesome thing in the world because they have external hard drive support. Seriously, there was one site goes, praise Yoshida. PS4 gets external hard drive support. And I was like, praise Yoshida? What the fuck? What the fuck are you guys talking about? You know what I mean? Praise Yoshida. Get out of here. People have been asking for that shit since launch. Took them 3.5 years, and we're going to praise Yoshida? Fuck that.
When are we going to praise Phil?
Should have been there years ago. Yo, no. Phil.
When are we going to praise Phil?
Phil, I heard Phil was streaming some Niho on his PS4 Pro, talking about how great Sony was that they finally implemented.
Game?
Oh, yeah, he was streaming. He was streaming Niho on the PS4 Pro on Beam, and then he was like, "Yeah, he's like Sony's really making. He's like Sony's really making strides lately. They invented this thing called an external hard drive. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but yeah, they totally invented that." And you know,
and 4K and the genius work of Sherney that 4K doesn't matter.
He's not just hold on. A deep dive into the genius of the Pro with Mark Cerny, the genius who made it. That's a fucking headline right there. You got to use genius twice. Genius.
Wait, hold up, I thought you guys were joking about the streaming. You guys were really serious?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, I'm gonna say, oh shit.
But you know what is funny is there were a lot of Xbox people. Some of that stuff was legit. That was kind of annoying. They're like, let's all have a slumber party and play PlayStation VR. We're all employees of Xbox, but let's go all play some Resident Evil on PlayStation VR. Woohoo! And they're like, I'll bring the marshmallows and I'll bring the whatever. And I'm sitting there thinking,
I'll bring the whipped cream. You know what? Crap? I said that shit a while ago. Like they're just too goddamn footsie out there, too goddamn friendly. Go out there, bitch, and be the behemoth that you are. You know what's one thing I could say? It was reciprocated, and they were doing it back to Microsoft. But they're the only one out that motherfucker doing the Gandhi and Mother Teresa act. You know what I mean? So we can show it in your competition is, hey, 1080p makes you a better gamer. Like have you no dignity? Have you no pride? Like Jesus, man, it's like me giving you a rubber to go fuck my wife. Like, come on, man.
It's crazy, man. They're going crazy over the hard drive.
No, they're just saying go raw.
Yeah, they're going crazy over the hard drive. I mean, it's good for the support, man. It's good if they got it, but I mean, you still got people with, screen names like Shit Killer and I like donkeys, and you still can't change
Dude,
that.
you got people named McLovin, which was from fucking a movie in 2008. I shit
Right.
you not, like
Right.
McLovin. Like, you don't think that person would want to change their name?
Matter of fact, their name is McLovin with like a generic number at the end. Man, they got McLovin.
Yeah, it's like
94.
McLovin 8365. You know what I mean? Like, geez, but they don't want to have a new name because they've already spent all these years working on trophies. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, damn. I mean, it'd be nice if you could actually change your name on there. It is like 2017. There's all kinds of modern things. So
That's a whole nother avenue for money, dude. Like,
yeah, $10 a pop.
You know what's funny is that
security.
I didn't hear one guy, basically a Sony fan, like before it was when you mentioned this. They're like, oh, you can just change it. They're like, just change it. Just put it. You could even leave it out. You could leave a hard drive out of the game. Like, nobody acknowledged that it was a good, feature just because they didn't have it. But that was a standard feature that
Yeah.
I mean.
What? Somebody tweeted me. They're like, now PlayStation 4 can do both. It's the best of both worlds. I'm like, listen. I was like, changing the PS4 hard drive was never a good solution because it meant whatever information was, let's say you have a 1 terabyte, you fill that fucker up, and you can only put a 2 terabyte in there, so you automatically have to put 1 terabyte worth of shit on your 2 terabyte drive, only giving you less than a terabyte left.
it was automatic
You know what I mean?
L.
Yeah, so it was like, unless you want to sit there and switch shits back and forth, you know what I mean? Hold on, let me pop in my hard drive 1, hard drive 2. Man, I got like 9 terabytes of
Walking around with a
hard drive
fucking
on my
label
Xbox
maker.
One.
You could go up to
like, hey,
drives.
this one's got the remaster of The Last of Us. This one's got the Uncharted collection. This one's got the Uncharted collection DLC. This one's got Uncharted 4. You know what I mean? It's like, shit. You gotta label all the shit, fucking screwdrivers, and pull your pants up and all this weird shit. It's fucking ridiculous.
I'm not opening my goddamn console. That's just kind of.
I mean, as a digital gamer, it's a necessity. I mean, even
Look,
2
have-
terabytes is like shit. You have to have
I'll tell you exactly my plan. Like, I have the one that I use mostly now is the white Xbox One S, and that's a 1 terabyte. And I don't even have anything installed on the hard drive in the console. Everything's on the externals because when Scorpio comes, I'm just gonna pop my Scorpio down, plug in my shit, and good to go.
Smart move, man.
Because you know what? I had to fucking struggle even with my original Xbox One to transfer all the shit because you got to do it one at a time.
Yeah.
So it was like, that was a big pain in the ass. I was like, I'm not going through that shit again when Scorpio comes out. I'm just going to not install anything, no games on that hard drive. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, don't everybody talk all at once.
I know, right?
It's genius.
But
that
how
was genius.
how do you really feel about it now, like as today, about the hard drive support?
I like it, man. Xbox gives you 16 tera. What is it? 16.
I'm just fucking around. Nah, man. It's good. I mean, it's good they finally get it. It's cool.
Oh, hey,
Well,
I'm not knocking it. I am glad, but why act like they invented that shit?
Well, they already made. I don't know. They look for money and stuff like that. I'm surprised they even put external support on the thing because, before that, when you had to switch out the hard drives, it was Sony hard drives that would be able to go into the PS4. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, no. You could use like laptop hard drive or whatever to go into the PS4s or whatever. But again, I think it was only up to 2 terabytes or whatever, so it wasn't like a shit ton.
You could actually leave a cord out of your. I mean, I actually had one guy. He was like, "Well, I'm like, well, how do you go past 2?" He's like, "Oh, well, you could actually just, you could have a SATA cord come out of your PS4 and you can just leave the
you got
hard drive hanging from it." I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?"
You got cords all coming out and shit.
I mean, but that's the extent that people go to. Like, what's curious to me is it's like it was always a good feature. Why all of a sudden now is it's accepted because your platform of plastic has it? I mean, it's stupid, but it's so much.
The tough thing to swallow is the fucking praise Sony. Therefore, this is why I love Sony. Yeah, this is why I love Sony. I've seen a ton of these posts. they really listen to the gamers. They're for the players, like they say. Great for them. And I'm like, where was all this shit when Microsoft announced this?
Yo, crap,
You know,
crap.
like
What's going on here basically is like I said this back like January 2nd. This is the year of the Scorpio. So if they add any features to the PS4, PS4 Pro and stuff like that, of course you got the gaming media out there who's just gonna freaking hold that shit up like on a golden pillar and stuff like that because they're scared. They're scared when
They're
it comes
putting the
to
pussy on a
power.
pedestal.
That's basically what they're doing, man. So every time, you could be like, well, now this thing can open up your beer bottle, and so, oh, that's the best shit ever. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna go get that. Like they're gonna blow everything up, and the closer we get to the launch of the Scorpio, the more they're gonna do this, man. It like
I think they'll be satisfied once there's a vagina-shaped port in the PS4. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, shout out to Jamie Moran who tweeted me some NeoGaf stuff where they're like actual responses to this, where they're like, wow, props to Sony. Thank you. And custom wallpapers. We did it, everyone. Hold on, custom wallpapers, finally. And oh my fucking God, just in time. Amazing. Thank you, Sony. Finally. Woo. You know what I mean? Like, this is like for legit. Like,
well,
this is like,
Crazy Yoshida one was the most. I thought.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, dude.
We had a big laugh about that one.
Yeah,
don't speak too soon. Pretty soon, there's going to be an update where you have that fucking screensaver from '98 where the pipes are going everywhere. I'm telling you, they're going to go crazy over that.
Yeah. You stupid.
Well, you know what's even funnier is like that whole. I sent you guys the link, Tim, and I know you tweeted out where the actual article says you won't be able to tell the difference between PS4 games and proper 4K.
Genius,
right? So yeah, and it mentions the Genius thing or whatever. But I did a video earlier tonight where I clipped out all these fucking sayings that these and like you would not believe the fucking narrative change that happens for PlayStation 4 Pro. Yeah, I tweeted it out. It's got like I actually use clippings of article titles, and I'll read a little bit. I'll read some of the ones that I picked for you. Okay, here's one. Okay, the first one is the one we just said. You won't be able to tell the difference between PS4 Pro games and proper 4K. Here's another one. How Sony's PlayStation 4 Pro does 4K without delivering 4K. That's a neat trick. Here's another one. How Sony's PS4 Pro will deliver 4K resolution in games. And then here's the one. PlayStation 4 Pro review. 4K gaming is here. And now here goes some slant ones because they're trying to switch the narrative. Did Project Scorpio make itself irrelevant just by existing? Xbox Project Scorpio, will it really do 4K? Doubts. Hold on. Here's another one. Doubts about Scorpio's 4K gaming chops. And then last but not least, why would you ever even buy a Project Scorpio? Question mark. I mean, these are legit articles. And I put those all up on the thumbnail so you can fucking read it. It's like, when you see it in black and white, it makes it so much more real.
You know what? And
like
what's funny is that this comes from because I put this up. I actually just put narrative changing, and of course the Sony fanboys were like, "Oh, it's not a big deal." One guy was like, "You're putting a victim," and just like going crazy. But this all started in 2013. I mean, I looked at some of the headlines that were run. This one was run. In I think 2015, Battlefront runs at 900p resolution on PS4, which is not even 1080p, and a blurry 720p on Xbox One.
Yeah, I saw that
blurry. This is coming from where those same fanboys that were hitting me up today, saying, well, okay, they were the ones that were pushing that. They were the ones that forgot. They thought it was funny that Yoshida was putting up graphs of 1080p because Xbox was not hitting it. They obviously have suffered a huge case of amnesia because this was the talk from 2013 to basically when Scorpio was announced. When Scorpio was announced, I props to Crap, he said that this is all going to change, and it did. When Scorpio was announced, everyone was hands off with the resolution stuff because they knew that they couldn't play that card anymore, and they pushed that resolution card tenfold more than it really should have been. Now you can argue, for me, like I always say that resolution's more dependent on the person. Some people have an eye for it, some people don't. Some people have 20/20 vision, some people don't. It's the same type of thing. Some people are sensitive to that stuff, some people aren't. Me, I'm kind of insensitive to it. I have a hard time, even from 900p to 1080p. It's like I cannot tell the difference. Maybe 720p, I can maybe see the difference. But the fact of the matter is that this whole narrative was shoved down our fucking throats. And now it's like we're gonna play amnesia and don't play the victim card, and it's about the games. These are the same people that were on their pedestals saying on their soapbox saying, "Hey, it makes me a better gamer. I can see somebody far in the distance at 1080p. I can really see that, and they're not as blurry." And people actually did all that stuff, and now the shoe's on the other foot. Now you're seeing the complete shift, and everyone knows it. Like the sad thing is that we all know it's going to happen, And as Crap just detailed with his video, I mean, those are just the clickback titles. Everyone, for some reason, holds Xbox to a higher standard, and they let Sony, get away with whatever they want to do. And
they're Sony. I mean, they literally can do whatever they want to. Yeah, they're genius. You can't tell the difference.
Let's stream some
Neo. Yeah, let's stream some Last Guardian, some Neo. Let's not talk about Gravity Rush 2 though, because that thing sold like shit. But
crazy crapping, you guys. And like I said, I did a little hangout, just having fun, busting balls. But I went my Vintage Next Gen. I went in my bag on them. My Hollywood Hulk Hogan. No, what's that black dude from WWE? What's the black dude? Booker T. My Booker T on the day, right?
You're gonna do the Spinaroonie.
Spinaroonie.
Sucker.
Yes. No.
Nigga. I was like, God damn. But what I find, all jokes aside, like I've always said from the beginning, and for you guys, when you guys are hypocrites, we always say the resolution didn't matter. Like I said, I've been gaming system, the NES and stuff. And I've never heard a console gamer, talk about resolution or really frames per second or whatever the case. We may go back and forth who got the better exclusives and maybe who even sold them more, so who got more features, cool. But I've never seen console gamers argue over resolution. IGN started that shit talking about, they gave the edge to the PlayStation version of Call of Duty Ghosts because it was 1080p. And then right then I know the goddamn, I used to the fix was in because both versions of the goddamn game was 720p. So the PS4 version didn't become 1080 until after they dropped the patch. I forgot.
They didn't even know. Yeah.
Next gen. I want to tell you something real quick though before I forget. All right, like here's the funny thing. I was watching Twitter, and there's people actually arguing that Xbox fans were the ones that came up with #resolution gate.
Oh,
they were saying that we invented that.
Yeah.
Not only did we invent that, we invented the #resolution gate thing originally, which that wasn't us. That was PlayStation. People that did that, like NeoGAF and all that stuff. Yeah. So not only did we do that, also that article where it talks about the checkerboard rendering. Yes. I was on N4G and I made a comment on there. I was like, the narrative changes, and I explained myself very calmly, very correct and articulately. And I was like, the narrative's changing. Obviously, we're not seeing all these resolution things anymore. And people actually responded. I got a shit ton of downvotes. They're like, no, nobody ever cared about resolution. We never brought that up. We never brought
That's 5 videos right there. They gave you 5 days worth of content right there alone,
People really forget that they are all suffering.
Downboard by tomorrow, I'm telling you.
It makes me want to cry. It really does.
It's so true. They really forget what's gone. We all remember.
Hey, Tim, what happened to Quantum Break? Why did that?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to say. Where was the genius behind reconstruction for Quantum Break? You know what we had? How is it 720p in 2016? What's going on with this game?
That's an Xbox. It's not even a multi-plat. That's an Xbox One exclusive, but it's okay for Neo to be 720p, right?
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Well, that's just options, guys. You don't have to play it in 720p.
Listen, here's the truth of the matter. And I read it and listen, everyone's being rational about it now. Okay, that's the difference, because Linneman was saying he was the guy that did DF. He was like, well, if you rather have it hit 720p than have a frame drop, right? And everyone's like, yeah, that's a great idea. But the fact is that if that was a Scorpio game, okay, or anything on Scorpio hit 720p, you would have all these fake people who pretend that they're just like the gamers. They would be all over it saying, oh, 720p, and it would be totally sensationalized. And that's just the truth. That is the plainest truth. You can lie to yourself and pretend that it wouldn't be, but that's the truth. A lot of Xbox fans, I have to say we don't push like I could have pushed that. I could have made Twitter a fucking living hell. It was like whatever. I was like, I don't want to deal with the crying because they're gonna say, just go on with it. I was like, you know what? I'll just say it. But the fact of the matter is that if Xbox hits 720, if Scorpio hits 720p, it's a fucking Phil would have to answer for it.
Yeah,
and that's
they would have him.
That's what we talk about.
Him around. Shame.
Well, how about that? Hey, what's the one? What was the stupid moron? The idiot that was the same idiot that was saying that Scorpio was downgraded to 5.5. He was just lying.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that idiot. He was saying that Phil has lost faith in the Scorpio because he says wait and see. You're taking people's words, you're twisting it around, and Phil had to answer for that. That's where it's like that's the shitty thing. Yoshida has to answer for nothing because everything is a gold plated for him and be like,
Tim, I'll give you another example, right? When I brought up in this article in that article in M4G, and people started like, no, Sony never pushed that. So I was like very calmly, I go into my I got a lot of this stuff bookmarked, and I was like, Sony said that 1080p made you a better gamer, and I linked it. And then the guy comes back, he goes, well, you're just taking his words out of context.
What about the graph he showed on Twitter?
Exactly, right? I had that. I was waiting for him to come back with that, right? Because he goes, Yoshida would never get into a resolution stuff or be childish. So I posted the fucking article where it's like Yoshida having fun with 720p, 1080p resolution debate, where Yoshida posts a fucking Eurogamer article called Xbox One Resolution Gate, the 720p fallout. And then he's like, interesting article, and tweets it. And someone goes, hey, Yoshida, perhaps you and Adam Boyd should do another educational video highlighting the benefits of 1080p versus 720p. Ha, ha, ha. And then he goes, oh, like this, and actually post a fucking a thing.
That big head
you're gonna tell me if Phil did something like that with 4K, that all these fucking these fans these fanboys they would go crazy. They would go absolutely.
NeoGAF would collectively have a stroke. NeoGAF would collectively have a stroke.
And they would demand an apology. And that's the sad thing. And what's the sad thing is that Xbox probably would apologize.
They would.
Hey Tim, you game with him and trade love letters that night with the guy. Listen, they need to do that shit. Stop it. They act like they're fucking the passion of Christ. Like they just whoop
I think that you gotta wait until Scorpio comes out.
Fine. But they don't have to fucking answer for every goddamn thing.
I've told, I haven't talked to Phil about that, but I've told people within there that, you have to point out your differences. You cannot be afraid of backlash all the time. You have to say, hey, we can hit 4K on all of our games. Hey, we have a media player that has 4K. We are the 4K choice.
Yeah, it is exactly because
a half-ass console. Now, listen, that guy Thomas Moeller, who said it was a half-ass, who's a developer. Let me tell you something. In the industry, a lot of people have said that they have referred to it as a half step or a half-ass.
Phil called it that. Phil said he's not a fan of the half step.
He talked a reference to his own stuff. He said,
yeah, but he knew. But you had to figure if I had fucking
about 15-year-old fanboys, you know what I mean? Crap.
Well, look, if I had the PS4 Pro data, you don't think Phil had it? Come on.
No. Honestly, I think that you had the Pro. I think that you had the Pro data a lot. I don't know who your connect is, but and I've seen some.
Listen, I'm not.
But that stuff that you had was very when you had it was very time sensitive. I don't really think that they knew that. But when Phil was talking about it, he was talking in reference to himself saying, hey, we could have this console here, which is basically the Pro in 2016. Okay. And he says that was not a big enough step for him. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is that where Scorpio sits with its, its teraflops and the bandwidth, it is likely that you can get your games at native 4K. Now, if you want to use a checkerboard technique and you want to use added effects, you can. But they have already stated on paper that they're going for native gaming. The console is a native capable machine. The PS4 Pro is not a native capable machine. You can argue it. Well,
Tim,
you
know
want
why?
their first parties are not. Name me one first party AAA that is in native. The GT Sport, which is a car game on tracks, fixed tracks, is not native 4K. It says a lot. And that's why people refer to it as the half step. Okay.
Well, Tim, you know what? Here's the thing. I've been doing videos. I've been looking through old Phil interviews from past year. And then it's so funny how people neglect to look at some of the stuff he says. He's like, they talk to developers, a lot of developers. Developers asked for a console that could give them the ability to do native 4K games. They listened. That's all. There's options. You've seen the fucking you've seen the white paper. You've seen it, Tim. It's an option. They're like, hey, you can do 4K games if you want, or you can do this, or you can do this, or you can do this.
But remember, according to Kind of Funny, we're not getting that console this year, and it's a next-gen console.
Whatever. Yo, guys, with everything that we said that's going on, with the media trying to play up the faux K, you know what I'm saying? The checkerboard, all that good stuff.
Oh, that's just as good, bot. Come on.
Yeah, I know, but I'm looking at this whole thing. I'm thinking the one thing that's really gonna set Scorpio apart.
This just in: PlayStation Network is down again for many players on PS4. Just in breaking news. Breaking news. We bring it to you live for like the third time in the last week.
They weren't on. But yo, check it out. I think the one thing that's gonna make or break the Scorpio is the graphic fidelity. If the Scorpio is going to have that native 4K and going to have that quote unquote ultra settings, that the better textures, the better lighting, the better shadows, not just being better for it being native 4K, but actually being better. You know what I'm saying? Having the actual graphics look a lot better than your 1S or your launch Xbox One. I think that's what's going to make or break it, because the look of the game, when you go into GameStop, when you go into Best Buy or anything like that, when you see that game running on Scorpio and it shits on every other console, like, damn, that game looks incredible. I think that's the one thing that can go past like that media bias.
Agreed.
Shit like that, yeah.
And I think that's what Phil said. When Phil said what he said, when he said, wait until you see the game, Phil has always said that. Like, Phil's trying to be nice about it. He's not, he doesn't want to sell you a pipe dream. He's saying, wait until you see the product. Now, I actually, I remember Phil when he talked about one day we were talking and we were talking in private. And he was talking about how he's playing 4K Tomb Raider on his PC and how amazing it looked. And I think, I think that's where he thinks like he's going to be able to deliver that experience that he was seeing whatever a year and a half ago.
At a console price
to a console to a 4K resolution. Like Tomb Raider, in my opinion, will definitely hit 4K native. Now, it is not native on Pro because I think it's checkerboard. It's definitely not native, even though some people misconstrue that because of the checkerboard, but it's not native.
Well, Sony mandates that developers be wishy-washy, what they just call it 4K mode or whatever.
Whatever, the 4K asterisk. So you can say what you want, but the fact is that what Phil was saying in that tweet that was misconstrued by Sony fanboy in particular who's obsessed with Microsoft, and he hates Microsoft, and whatever, it is what it is. But that narrative that he pushed, and then Phil had to answer for it. What Phil was saying there was just, hey, wait until you see what I see. And I think that's what's going to happen. Like Xbox said, what could overcome everything is that if you're playing a game and it looks markedly better than the competition, people will just say it looks better. I think people will, if it's definitely better, they're not gonna sugarcoat it that much. They'll just say, hey, it looks better, and then they'll just be a fanboy for Xbox. So that's what people do. Basically they get behind the brand, or a lot of people do that, and then they become a fanboy. We can go over the guys that flip-flop 3 times, back and forth. I'm sorry, Tim, I'm sorry, and then the next week, because the PSX comes out, oh, you're a fanboy, this and that. We could talk about guys that were big Xbox fans, the biggest of Xbox fans, that because of an event changed their whole entire outlook and then started attacking and being a fanboy of the same thing and turning it around. We could do that all day, but that's what people usually do. Okay, they usually like to get behind something. And I do think that when people start to see what Scorpio is, and when they do see the specs, and when they do see that it's just markedly better than the competition, it's going to have an effect. It's going to have an effect in America. It's going to probably have an effect in UK. Globally, I can't speak for that, because Microsoft's brand is nothing compared to Sony. But I could definitely tell you that for those two markets, it's going to be huge.
Which, by the way, that, like, people saying that's not good enough, the Xbox 360 managed to sell like 90 million consoles, just being huge in those 2 markets. So, yeah, like to point that out. Like, look, the narrative is already changing. The media is helping it out. It's there in black and white. People can see it. They're trying to blur the line between, that checkerboarding stuff and the native 4K. I called that. I told Next Gen, I was like, look, the narrative will change. You'll see. It won't be about power, and they're slowly transitioning away from that already. And that's kind of sad. Like, to me, it's like Sony's getting the last laugh again, unless Microsoft really pulls a rabbit out of the hat this E3. Now,
you know what, crap? Let's be honest. They need to fucking speak up for themselves, man.
Well, they need to have. This is their most important E3. I've said that multiple times. I've heard really.
He has to start being more aggressive, man. Period.
Yeah,
I've heard really cool things about this E3. So if anything is close to,
they view Microsoft as their competition. I sometimes think that Microsoft gets that a little afraid, where they say, hey, well, we're the industry, and we just want to grow together, and if we're in second place, you know what happens? We're all
gamers, guys. We're all gamers.
With that is that what happens with that is that when you're in second place and the industry does go bad and there's only room for one, guess who gets kicked out? It's you. So you should always strive to be
number one.
You should always strive to be number one. I mean, that's just the way. Isn't that the way that it works? Isn't that
it
the
is?
way?
And look, I know a lot of people say, we're all just like voracious fanboys or whatever, and in a way, true. But it's not like I don't think Microsoft has faults. Anybody will tell you. I was like pissed off earlier this week in that chat we were having in BGST. I was like, fucking, they're not advertising Halo Wars 2. I was like, they fucking come out with a new fucking herpes red controller and some other fucking, you know what I mean? Like they come out these new controllers every other week. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You know what I mean? It's like
designed by Carrie.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and you got that guy like fucking, I don't know. You guys know who I'm talking about. He's a huge hipster, and I want to punch him in the face, but he works for Microsoft, and so it's like, it gets to the point where it gets ridiculous. These guys are like so like kumbaya and shit.
Hey, yo, what you say, crap? That tweet? You don't see the CEO from Target or something. What the hell are you saying?
I said you don't see a fucking CEO of Walmart going to Target because they got a good deal of toilet paper.
I mean,
know what I
listen,
mean?
the fact is that you don't see that reciprocated from the Sony side.
No.
Those guys do not say anything. They are not, putting Xbox gears on their Twitch.
They're really not allowed. I mean,
They're
they're
not
probably
allowed.
mandated
And you
not
know what? They
allowed to.
probably would look. They would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" If that happened. But somebody just sent me in regards to the resolution, Predator H2Os. Thank you. It talks about, and I'm going to put it in our chat. It talks about how Sessler, who was saying that it wasn't a big deal about resolution, how he was attacked, and how people went at him because he said, "Well, it's not a big deal with Xbox One and PS4." And if you remember at that time, that's the way it was. You were not allowed on NeoGAF and other places to really say, hey, it's not big of a difference, because you were either then deemed a fanboy for Microsoft or attacked. Now, this is Adam Sessler, who is probably one of the most middle-of-the-road guys, one of the best guys in the industry.
I call him the shaman of gaming.
He is a fantastic – you know what? He left. And it's because of this stupid shit. And you can read this article. I'll actually post it up on my Twitter. It just goes to show you what was going on. It was really an ugly time. It was not a time where people were being rational. Now people all of a sudden are being rational because why? It's not Microsoft, and that's not fair. If you want to be fair, let's be fair. But if you want to say that, one should get something and the other should be completely grilled, that's unfair. And that's, people like myself and Xbox fans that know the deal are not going to stand for it. We're going to just say that's bullshit. And, we're not going to just bow down and, be intimidated because, we know what went on, and it was an ugly time with Resolution Gate. And now, like I said, it's all being rational, and it's kind of like
Tim, it was so bad we can't even enjoy our betas. The betas in 720p.
720p, yeah. And that's from that shitbox place, NeoGAF, which is the worst place for video gaming, in my opinion. It all originates there. And it never fails, and it's always the same thing. They push the narrative. They always get the first story. They push what they think. They push what they like, and they also push what they hate. And they also push.
Here's the question, though. This is the $17 question. When do you think Microsoft is going to speak up for themselves? You know what I mean?
Probably never. They would.
They have to stop walking around with a big lighter and a marshmallow. They really do.
Yo, I'm just saying, the Scorpio can come out and be the second.
Well, if the Scorpio starts to
sell, just do.
If the Scorpio, listen, if they go out, my opinion is if they're aggressive and they say, "Hey, we are 4K, we are true 4K, and we are putting out the best." We are putting out the best Xbox Live. We got the best console. We got 4K gaming, and the competition can't touch that. And they come out bold. You might get a kickback, but I'm telling you right now, I think people would buy it.
If you listen, for most people that are going to kick back, probably wasn't going to buy your product any fucking way.
Exactly. Okay? That's the thing.
Here's the problem. What I don't understand, and I told somebody within the loop. I said, as long as your core, the people that spend money with you is not complaining, what all these apologies and they taking down 4K off the commercial, and what the hell is wrong with these people? Like, they just really over there just tripping over their tongue. It's pathetic, man. I hate to see them like that, man. You know what I mean?
It's what Crap was talking about. Sometimes I think that sometimes that their philosophy from the top kind of trickles down.
The Dolly fucking llama.
Well, listen, that's what I think trickles down to them. But what I don't think that you can compare what's going on in the operating system field and what they do to gaming. The bottom line is you have a few big players in gaming. Basically, you're one or two, and the one that's in second place gets eaten up, and that's just the fact. So you should strive to be number one.
Microsoft, whether you like it or not, hold up, let me say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, Microsoft runs gaming. They own every fucking thing, okay? The Havoc engine, they just, but all types of shit they own. Shit we don't even know about. Some developers telling me, I don't know, the fucking program that they use to make the fucking games. Microsoft owns that. They own every fucking thing. But you know what I mean? Let me ask you this question. The same shit with the Kinect and the DRM. all the bad stuff, right? If Balmer still was there, I can guarantee you won't be no out there no ass kissing, man. Fuck it. Listen, the OG Xbox got his goddamn teeth stomped in. But me being like, listen, my right-handed guard. Right now, I'm doing the Lord's work.
God.
I told Phil
now.
this. I said, listen, I've been with you guys since 2001. I've been on Xbox Live. I was a beta tester since 2002. If we got our ass kicked in with the OG Xbox. But even as me being the Xbox, I'm telling you guys, I still had faith in my platform. You know what I mean? Now I don't give a fuck about all this Windows 10 shit and go there. I'm a console gamer. Yeah. Get back to what made
it does seem like they're scattered. They're scattered with what they're doing. I know. Here's the thing for me, right? Like, you know what you see, and I know this. Like, we knew about this a little while ago, but IGN actually was publishing, an article and video about why Obsidian. So if you guys don't know who Obsidian is, they made Fallout New Vegas. They made KOTOR 2. Very good developer. They were working on an Xbox One exclusive RPG. Yes, and then they canceled it. Yeah, no, it wasn't Phil. Phil wasn't there. It wasn't the head of Xbox. It was Donnie D. Oh. This was would have been a launch game. They canceled that, and the reason why they said was because there was no champion at Xbox, and I kind of agree with that. He said you got to have somebody that can go. He goes. You got to have somebody that believes in the game, can talk to higher ups into spending the money for it. You know what I mean?
Phil was the head of the goddamn gaming studio. Phil had Aaron's job.
No. Aaron is
Microsoft Studio.
Yeah, Phil was the head of Microsoft Studios, but it was the Don Matrick decision to. Exclusives. What's that?
Here's what I'm saying. I understand that a prime example. Even though Scalebound was being made by Platinum Games, Microsoft was still publishing it, so it was still technically fall up on Aaron.
No. Well, he's the one that does the promotions. He doesn't actually. He's not the head of the studios. Shannon Loftus, I think, is the head of the studios.
Oh, what the fuck happened to that guy? Colon cancer or something? What the fuck's he's at?
Who?
Shannon Loftus.
Who? Shannon, that's a girl.
That's a girl.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What the fuck she's at? I always thought it was a guy. What the fuck she at?
She be tweeting all day.
Yeah, she tweeted.
Well, she's nice.
Okay. So she's the head of Microsoft. She's the
basically.
I do think that Phil does put his.
Well, no, Phil. Remember, okay, who was it? That one guy, Kudo Sonoda. He was briefly in charge of some of the studios, and then now he's working on HoloLens. But even when he was in charge of some of the studios, Phil still has direct involvement over Gears, Halo, and Forza.
Well, that's Phil's old job, so he probably has his hand in the pot with that.
But you gotta wonder if that guy's not right though. Like, do they have that guy champion to Satya about some of these games? And look, I know a lot of people.
What I think is going on, and I know where you're going. What I think is going on, if we're going to be real about it, they are waiting to see what happens with Scorpio, what happens to see with these upcoming games.
Yeah,
we might get a standard E3 this year. It's not going to be a blowout, but I do feel if these games do well, and I do feel that they will, and I do feel that if Scorpio is what they think it's going to be, then we will have the blowout. I mean, we could talk about games all you want in 2013, and I'll let you say what you want to say, Xbox. I just want to say this point, but in 2013, Xbox had an amazing E3 with games. Yes, they did. Okay, and nobody talked about it. So when we talk about narratives and we talk about all this stuff, it is very relevant because Xbox absolutely killed it in E3 in 2013, and nobody talked about it. Everyone talked about DRM. So it's just a lot of it is just a lot of bullshit that you got to swift through, and it's talking points. But what were you gonna say, Xbox?
Yo, Tim, I gotta say, man, you're my brother. You're my BGST brother. I just want to also throw out there, man, I'm trying to find my timing with everybody, so I stay quiet for a while. But dude, when it comes to this year's E3, I gotta disagree with you. I think this thing is gonna be off the chain, and like
it to be.
Like you said, like me and you agreed with me on this when it came to the graphical fidelity of the games. So when you go into E3 and you're showing these games, and no matter who's watching it, no matter what screen they're watching it on, they can see a clear fucking difference between Scorpio and everything else.
I think you can. Hence,
Boom!
hence Phil saying wait to pre-order till you see the
Exactly.
game.
But I'm talking
running on it.
Xbox. What I'm talking about is just the game announcements. New. Like they might show Forza Horizon 3.
I think
they might show Forza Horizon 3 in 4K on Scorpio, where you're like, holy shit!
I think they got games, man. I think they got games. Like
I think.
If I were running a business, right, and I had new hardware coming out, why would I show you a game that just shows it at the level of games that you see right now? When I have this hardware coming out, going towards the end of the year, there's showcases with like E3 and showcases like that before the launch. Why would I show my cards per se? Before you know what I'm saying? I want to show it on the new hardware. I want to show it in its best possible presence. I think they have stuff that they're not even talking about yet, and I think we're going to be surprised.
Hey, all
when
that's
E3
good.
comes around.
I'm with you 115%. But know what they need to do? The biggest thing, we don't need to know about 90% of their show before they show it. Okay, that's
exactly.
Kind of, damper. Also, too, I'm gonna say this again, like I told you before, Grab. I don't want to see no fucking indies on the big stage.
You're going to, man.
Yeah, you're gonna see some indies because like stuff like Ori 2 is gonna be up there. But
I'm not talking about that. You know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you're gonna see it because you're gonna see some of that. But
you don't need
here's the thing.
Now it's all like you don't need that crap.
The minute that they don't show that shit is the minute you see a million articles. Has Microsoft already abandoned the indie devs?
You saw Sony did the E3 last year.
Sony
they're allowed to though. You don't understand. Yeah. It's like
everybody complain regardless. Fuck them.
No, but he's right. But
that's going to buy your product day one.
It doesn't matter.
Right. Crap is right. He's right, Zaire. It doesn't.
Listen, I'm not saying
it's a different standard that they're held to.
They want to complain regardless.
I agree, but
Scorpio's overkill. What did Michael Patrick say? What's all that for? You don't need all that.
Listen, if you want to know like part of the media stuff, right? And it's absolutely unbelievable. Look at what all the main I am subbed to some of these gaming channels. I get other are recommended to me all this week. All I see on GameSpot, IGN, Games Radar, all these big name game sites on their YouTube channels is Neo gameplay. Yakuza gameplay, Gravity Rush 2 gameplay. No joke. Like that's all you see. Oh, why Horizon Zero Dawn's already a front runner for Game of the Year? You know what I mean? Like
Horizon Zero Dawn's gone gold.
You see 20 minutes of Horizon Zero Dawn in 4K. You know what I mean? Like that. You see that, and you won't see anything published or anything about Halo Wars. I mean, we saw Neo beta gameplay from these sites as well. We haven't seen, I don't think, hardly any for like Halo Wars 2. And look, you might go, well, that's a niche title. You're telling me that Yakuza isn't a niche title or Gravity Rush 2 isn't a niche title? Come on.
It's true. What I mean? I saw your video today, and I watched your whole video, and I have to say you did a good job. What you said was all true. Now, you talk about these sites, and yeah, they do seem to play the PlayStation. They all seem to like PlayStation more. It is what it is, but it is what Microsoft has to go up against.
Yeah,
because you talk about like this. Talk about you said Horizon in 4K. Okay,
they just say 4K. They never mention like the checkerboarding or anything. So
if that was an exclusive for Scorpio or Xbox. Well, that was the Xbox's first Scorpio. Let's just put the shoe on the other foot. You know that they would be saying, hey, that would be the talk. Hey, this game's not hitting native 4K. Certain things are always swept under the rug for Sony, and they are not swept under the rug for Xbox. So the point being is that Xbox has a lot to go up against, and like Crap said, they have to show indie games. I understand what you're saying, but because if they don't show indie games, then you'll get this. Oh, they're not. They don't recognize.
And what I'm saying, this is what I'm saying.
But you have to say this.
I'm not
I
in
mean,
disagreement with anything that you and Crap are saying. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that your core fan base, us that made these motherfuckers what they are, we're not complaining for indies.
Well, I do know that there's a lot of people that do like those kind of games.
Bro, Crap. Again, what I'm saying is this: you have a pre-show E3. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
And you also have an after-show E3. What you had to do, you had to take the stage and kick ass. We need to see AAA what you're about. Well, those motherfuckers that went shaky, that neutral and all that shit right there, they don't want to see any goddamn indies on your goddamn, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Well,
That's
I mean,
what
look,
I'm saying.
they're going to have to, because if they don't put them in the big spotlight,
Yeah.
they could feel bad. Look, Microsoft is just, believe it or not, are just now getting back into good graces with the developers. We were seeing articles about how developers hated Microsoft. They were anti-developer.
But I'm just saying, you have
Maybe not the Ghost that fucking game that you can't even for the season pass where you don't even get shit for extra.
Yes,
Maybe
for
not
Ghost
that.
Warrior. Yeah, I've done.
you know
know
what
what, I was-
Microsoft did? Put
I
their
was the
foot down.
fucking-
You're not putting your game on our platform.
Well, yeah, I mean, guess what? They already have enough problem. They already have enough problems with. I was noticing it today. Sony's getting a lot of these third-party exclusives. I know they're Japanese, so that's why. But look, Neo, that's a game that. Why isn't that on Xbox? If you know what I mean? Like, that's not a Sony-made game, or not even a Sony-published game. Yakuza, that's a Sega game. Why not put that on an Xbox? They've never been on Xboxes. Why is Sony getting like this preferential treatment for these games? You know, I mean, I don't personally care for them, but it's not like Sony's getting all the credit for putting out these amazing exclusives. And the reality is, they're putting them out because they're given to them.
They're Japanese
Pretty
developers.
much. They're Japanese developers.
Yeah, exactly. And
they're
Microsoft
not-
isn't getting the home team
Well,
benefit. You know,
they're not big production, even though that you know they're not big production. So when they say, "Hey, we could just release on this platform, it'll be cheaper," and nobody else is going to buy our games on Xbox. Those games, that we mentioned, for maybe Neo can actually sell something, but for the most part, they're not going to sell. They sell very little. It's just like Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, or the remakes. Those games, nobody would buy them on Xbox, so they kind of know that, and that's why they don't.
But Tim, remember when the Dreamcast came out, and then when it died, the original Xbox got a lot of their games. You know what I mean? The Shenmue, what else did they get?
got Panzer Dragoon,
Panzer Dragoon,
Radio.
Sega Rally, all of
Sega Rally, which turned into Forza. But that was cool, man. I mean, so I don't see why Sega doesn't come over here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why not? Like, they're both x86, and again, I have no interest in playing any of these titles. Right? I could play them easily. They gave some of the Yakuzas away on PS3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I could have easily. I have no interest in playing any of these games, but there could be a little niche corner of Xbox gamers who do, and I just, I just don't understand why they wouldn't put them on Xbox as well. And so that's why next gen, like, what, are you going to not have the option to have the game on your platform at all? Another exclusive for Sony? Right. Like, for me, like, that doesn't really make sense. And I've been on this developer's, like, he's been on my shit list from the beginning. I've done multiple videos on this guy. He called it the fucking Xbone over and over again, said it couldn't do HDR, so there wouldn't be any HDR on that version. Right? And then when enough people, I guess, tweeted this guy and shit like that, he's like, okay, well, I guess we'll do that. And now there's like this whole shit where he's like, only PC and PS4 get the season pass for free if you pre-order. Not Xbone. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, like, seriously. But like, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, look,
and if that was done to Sony, okay, let's just say that this developer,
big site would have covered that shit.
There would be a big backlash.
Not shitty crap gamer.
Like, that's the difference is that it's sad, but it's kind of like when you or me or anybody brings up that point and we push it, and we were actually talking about in the pre-chat, like or in the BGST DM. It's like if we put our heads out on the line, we get attacked. We get, stop, this or that and bullshit thrown our way. But if that was reversed and that game was done to Sony, NeoGaf would have a thread up.
Mhm.
And they would be pushing hate with that. And all these Sony fanboys, that the same guys that are saying, well, you wouldn't buy the game anyway, so who cares? Okay, the ones that are making those excuses because it's not on Xbox and it's a clear anti-consumerism, but they still play their Sony fanboyism, whether it, because that's what they do. But if it was reversed, they would be saying, "Oh, this developer." They'd be going at the developer. They would be attacking them. NeoGaf would have articles written because NeoGaf would write it. But it's like we're on our own island, and it's like, hey, now we're getting screwed over by a developer, and we should say stuff, and we should fight back, and we should say, hey, it's wrong.
Xbox fight back.
Yo, well, Tim, here's the deal. This is where I got to go with Next Gen on this when he said, why doesn't Microsoft step up and say something? Because you have Xbox fans who are saying this. You have Xbox fans who are going to talk with their wallet and not buy this game. But in this industry, the developers should look down on the developer that does something like this. Unless there's some type of special arrangement, which I can't see, because you have the PC version and the Sony version getting the season pass with the pre-order. So why doesn't Microsoft step up and say, guess what? Get off our fucking platform. We don't really care how much money you make. You're not treating us equally. You're doing this to our fans, our consumers, and we're not going to take this shit either. You see what I'm saying? Like, I believe with an instance like this, I think that the Xbox division and Microsoft need to step up for their consumers as well.
They should, but they won't. They should, but they won't. That's
Phil
reality.
needs to pull up to that developer, get out of his Lamborghini, say, hey, man, is your boss around? Oh, I think he's around back. All right, for sure. Hey, man, I want to go have lunch. You know what I mean? They need to just do something, man. They got to say something.
Well, I think, like I said, it's just sad that because it's Xbox, that it's again overlooked, or it's not boohooed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if this is happening from, let's just say, a game like just whatever, a game that's kind of friendly with Xbox, or it's a multi-plat, and they
think of one, right?
Yeah, exactly. But let's just say that happened. You guys know what would be happening. That everyone would be running this crusade, and actually, they would probably get the developer of this game to probably include it, because they would just fall to pressure. But again, we're like on our own island, and we talked about crap, and we talked about some of the Xbox guys being like hey, well, we're all gamers. Let me show you a picture.
We're all gamers here,
guys.
guys.
Hey, it's all gamers. And,
Right.
and that lovely attitude. But this is a real issue. Like, what I would want to see from one of those guys is to have a little bit of balls and have a little bit of heart for what you work for and your brand, and say, hey, write a comment. Hey, it's really screwed up what you're doing, and stand out instead of trying to be a kiss ass and trying to have everyone, in a lovey-dovey big hug fest, when sometimes it's not. Have a little, stick up for your brand, stick up for your fans. And unfortunately, I hate to say, be the bearer of bad news, that's never going to happen with Microsoft. There's maybe two guys that would do it.
Greenberg,
Ibarra. But other than them, nobody's going to say anything. Phil just does not believe in any of that. He believes in taking the high road. Okay, that's his ideology. That's what he believes in. And I've been on record many times. I don't believe that. I believe that maybe Phil should say, hey, it is unfortunate that this game doesn't have the season pass. I don't know why Xbox is excluded. Question mark. That would stir so much shit up that it probably would get an answer. But unfortunately, we're not going to get it.
Not for anything, man, but taking the high road is all well and good. It's something that I like to do. But when you look at an issue like this, it's not like taking the high road isn't going to do anything. Like, you can be a person that takes the high road and then point this shit out and say, we're not having this. This is something that is unfair. You know what I'm saying? Like from a developer standpoint, who is going to make money off of the software that they're creating on the platform that I control, you bet damn sure I'm going to say something. You know what I'm
Even
saying?
better,
Because it's not
the
fair.
developer
It's
called
not
Xbone.
across the board.
It's called the Xbox, the Xbone.
Yeah,
What happens if they're like, no game for you?
then fuck you then.
Who's buying the goddamn game anyway?
Well,
They
hold
wouldn't
on.
do that.
Well, yeah, but we can sit there and say that. But look, let's be honest. The reason why one of the big selling points of the PS4 early on was they had all these indies, and these indies weren't on the Xbox. Why?
They bought
Because
this
there was
shit.
a parity clause. And why did and that was Phil sticking up for the gamers, and people hated him for it. And Phil Spencer himself said, "I feel like Xbox owners should never feel like they're what did he say?
First class.
Yeah, he says they should never feel like
Third
third class
citizens.
citizens. They
Right.
should get the games day and date, right? That
Right.
makes sense to me. That was him sticking up. But what happened then? Nobody was just putting their games on the fucking platform.
But I'm
Now,
saying,
eventually, you get them. You'll get them. You know what I mean? They might not be day and date, but you'll still get them. You know, and I think that's good because there's people, even though like some of these games might not be for me personally, it's still like people still want some of that stuff, like
Yeah,
that Witness
I,
game.
crap,
I
I'm not
fucking- I
negating
didn't give
anything
two
that
shit
you're saying.
about
Crap,
that,
I'm
but-
with you 150%. Okay, I'm with you, my brother, my black brother. But at the end of the day, right? You like what I'm saying is this. Now the whole indie thing, I really didn't care. You know what I mean about whether because I'm not spending no fucking goddamn $20 on a game that they can run on a fucking Game Boy Advance. That's how I feel about the indies this generation. It's too fucking expensive and they look like shit. I don't, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, they're not why you buy a next gen system. 100%.
Yeah.
but it wasn't
It's
like
the
that.
icing.
I
They
call them
wasn't like-
vacation games.
No, here's the thing. Last generation, we got them every Wednesday. They were
Right.
called Xbox Live Arcade titles or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? They were
Well,
$5 to $10.
the loss of the Xbox Live Arcade has really hurt Microsoft a lot this generation. I feel, you know,
Big
like
time.
you had-
A lot of people went to that market for those games.
yeah,
man.
because you
A
know
lot.
you were going to get quality stuff. Now, if you ever actually go into the game marketplace, everything's just mishmashed together, and
Yeah.
some shit looks like it was created on Microsoft Paint. I shit you not,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
like,
it looks
it's
bad.
that bad, and they want $20
Yeah.
for it. That's why
yeah,
I
it's
don't.
like. It's like that Steam shit, man. It wouldn't even be on Steam. Hey, Sony's guilty too. They got that fucking Panther game that was a free to play on a phone, and they're charging like 10 or 15 bucks for it, and it looks like a PS1 game. And,
They were weren't they charging money for Jetpack Joyride?
yeah, I think they did.
Nah, I don't know if it was free, but I know they were trying to charge something for that game. Then even Xbox, I was scrolling through the shop, and they had a game like a feminist game. So what the fuck is this? It was like a pro women mini games. Like what the fuck is this? It was. I'm trying to find the link. I'll send it to you guys. But it was mind boggling. Yeah, but definitely Xbox Live Arcade is definitely not what it used to be. Remember in the summertime we got blockbusters. Those games are almost AAA, like Bastion and Shadow Complex, Explosion Man. I mean, they went hard. They went really hard. You know, we just don't see that these days.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I was never big into like even the arcade. There was some smaller titles like the comic.
Everybody
Jumper,
and their mother played
like that.
Castle Crashers. You did too. And
Yeah.
No, I
Shadow
didn't.
Complex.
No,
Stop lying.
I didn't play Castle Crashers, man. I wasn't.
Did you
I wasn't-
Shadow Complex, Castle Crashers, any of that shit?
I played Explosion Man. I played Comic Jumper. Splatter. But like at the end of the day, like I would go through the arcade and I would see a bunch of trash, and then I would see a couple games I like. Like it didn't really mean too much to me. Like and another thing, and it's something that I'm actually going to be talking to on O Snaps's podcast Wednesday mornings. It's about the indies, how they just kind of threw the indies and the AAAs kind of all together on the Xbox One.
Because we're all a happy family. It's just games. We're all gamers, and they're just all games.
Can I get a hug?
My boy the Don on next podcast, he is a developer. Yes, he is a small time developer, but he is a developer, and he even agrees that is bullshit. Like there's no way you're gonna put like I don't know Jimmy Rides a Bicycle 3 next to fucking like Madden 17. Like it's
Hey, but Sony does. That's how they make that list.
So Sony can do whatever the fuck. Sony took the reins this generation. They saw that Xbox One, Microsoft fucked up, and then they went together with their advertising. They went crazy on it. They started the whole resolution thing. All right. Then you put that together with the media and the reporters that they got all nostalgic. Like, man, I grew up on PlayStation 2. I don't want to see PlayStation go away. And they just started doing all their great articles about PlayStation, and Sony just ran with that whole thing. They haven't really done anything great this generation, and anytime they copy Microsoft, like what we were saying before with the external hard drives and stuff, it's just intuned in everybody to be like, oh, that shit's fucking awesome. Like, dude, Xbox has been doing that. Xbox is actually innovation. All right, when it comes to gaming on consoles.
Well, they push the industry forward. That's true. Here's the problem though. Sony ramps their shit up by the third year, and that's what you're starting to see now. And not only that, but they have they're starting to get some of these double A's and like some of these other games. Like, I don't consider Gravity Rush a triple A, but that's a double A that they get in there earlier in the year. Same thing with Yakuza. And they're getting that Jaffe game, Drawn to Death. Apparently, it's coming out in April, which is like this multiplayer.
Is that a retail or digital?
I think it's
digital.
Digital. Yeah, I believe it's digital. He's a big digital advocate, sort of like Cliffy B. He doesn't like physical media anymore. So, but still, those are filling gaps. And if I did have to complain about something, it's not the Scalebound cancellation. It's not the Fable Legends cancellation. It's Microsoft getting rid of some of their smaller developers. The Twisted Pixels, like you have those little double A's in there that those look like much better scattered out. If you look at Sony at the list
and stuff like that.
Press play. They were working on a really cool game, that Project Knoxville, that the gamers themselves voted on to get made. Yeah, Twisted Pixel was working on something new. They owned that Toy Soldiers franchise and they gave that up. It's
That's
closing
crazy.
down. Yeah, that's the thing that to me is the bigger blow, because you could have Twisted Pixel coming out with something this year too. It might not be AAA level, but it could be AA. You could have that Project Knoxville coming out this year. Like that pads your stuff a little bit. You know what I mean? And it looks better.
It'll hold you over till that AAA comes out.
Exactly. And so if Sony, like, I don't think this is going to be a huge year for them. I don't think God of War or Spider-Man's coming out this year, but they still are going to have enough of these smatterings, with Gran Turismo coming out and Horizon Zero Dawn, that, with some of these smaller titles mixed in, that people are going to look at them like they're doing some amazing thing. And it's not really that way, but it looks that way. And Sony is always big on things looking good. Like they very time shit. Like I saw an article today, like Sony's bold strategy to release these exclusives so early in the year. It's brilliant. And it's just like, well, realistically, they're just releasing shit that got delayed last year.
Right.
I don't know how brilliant that is, but okay, but they are ramping shit up. And that is something that, early on, I felt like Microsoft didn't take advantage enough of them having all the games and Sony not. They were too busy like beating off the people that are like talking about resolution. It's like you're fighting one battle and you really should have been focused more on the games that you had, because they were shitting all over Sony's exclusives. And now Sony is at a point where they don't want the power. Yeah, they don't want the power being discussed. They want the narrative to be on the games, and people, the media and all that stuff are going to be into that, because why? Because you've got like this quote unquote variety. You got your racing game, you've got your Uncharted DLC. You've already announced shit that's going to come out in 2020, so you got people hyped up about that. Apparently, PlayStation VR is seeing a little bit of a resurgence thanks to like Resident Evil. They say something like 80,000, which is a pretty good number. We're playing that game.
Well, what happened to the Final Fantasy? I heard it's not even being developed yet. Final Fantasy
It's
7?
multiplayer, isn't it though?
Yeah, it is. I heard like Square Enix.
Yeah, but there was supposed to be a VR exclusive, thing or whatever. But they are starting to announce some of that stuff.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I mean, for me personally, again, like I said, I think it's a little bit too expensive, but the media is really pushing VR, and I think that Sony invested a lot of money.
Is VR still being shipped?
Well, that's the thing. I guess
VR
they're
is dead, man.
They're quote unquote relaunching it, right? So they've got they're just now restocking. So I know everybody's like, oh my God, they're all sold out. but they only had that initial shipments, and then, once those are gone, they didn't restock. So it's like, can you really say that's a success? That's like,
Oh, they pulled the
like,
Nintendo move. All right.
yeah, like a lot of people apparently they've said a lot of GameStops and stuff are canceling people's reservations, basically,
You really
because.
pre-buy?
Oh no! If you pre-ordered, they're canceling some because there's a shortage.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah, they took too many pre-orders, so a lot of people are having their pre-orders canceled right now.
My Best Buy, they got them on the shelf, a few of them. I didn't know it was a problem to get them. I just not.
Well, no, not the VR. I'm talking about the Switch, but yeah, the VR supposedly is sold out. But I've seen it in stores too, at like Walmart and stuff here. But I guess at GameStop, like you ask them, you're like, well. They're like, yeah, we sold out. And I'm like, well, how many did you have you had since it launched? They're like 5. You know what I mean?
Just that
like,
initial shipment, and that was it.
Yeah, that's it. They're like 5. So I mean, it's not too weird to see that a GameStop would be sold out. Walmart's not though; they have it, but it's like fucking $4.99. That's insane.
Oh wow!
I don't know, man. Like VR. To me, VR is dead.
I think Microsoft's going to pull out of that.
It'll be an option, like not for anything. It's not going to take anything for them to have a VR like running off the Scorpio. I think VR is going to stay in the PC space. If anything, that's where it's going to have its little piece of life until I don't think it's going to really go mainstream, but if it does, once it does go mainstream, then you'll see it more predominant like on consoles. But until then,
they pulled it off the bullet point. So
yeah, it's going to live on PC side, man. That's where it's going to be.
You can probably maybe find a spot on console. It's just right now, if it comes down to about $200, and the indie developers have to start making titles for it, like little Candy Crush games or whatever the hell for $20, or what's that goddamn game Sony had? They was hyping up Raz, what you call it? Resogun. I'm sorry,
Resogun.
Games like that. Yeah.
Riggs? Riggs?
No,
Riggs. Resogun. It was like
Resogun, that was a game that PS4 fans were talking about for like a year and a half because there was nothing else. Like, we got Resogun. I can still remember fucking Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty talking up that game. It's great, and it's cross-buy. You play it on your PS4, your PS3, or your Vita. Amazing. Nobody gave a shit. But here's Microsoft like, we're going to give That's another thing that I was pissed off about earlier this week, right? Fucking just a bitch about this a little bit. Like, they're like, we got a big announcement. And I was like, this is going to be so underwhelming. And it was fucking Fallout Shelter. Like, really? Like, Fallout Shelter?
A fucking phone game. Who gives a fuck?
That's what I said.
That's
like, when you say... Yeah, it's a
micromanaging game, bro. It's nothing. You tell this person to go fuck this person. Hey, you fucker, go get food. Like, it's dumb.
Yeah, it's like it was a phone game. It was on like iOS and Android, and now it's on.
We might have to concede defeat. I don't know what the fuck going on out there, man. We might have to concede defeat.
What was that Halo game that came out? Was it something Assault? What was that?
Spartan Assault.
Like,
That's something I would love. I'm a Halo fan, and that's something I would love to forget about, man.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me. By the way, I really.
Okay. I guess before we get the hell out of here, Crap, I just want to ask you a question. I know you're a big supporter of the Nintendo Switch. What are your thoughts about the Nintendo Switch not being able to handle Frostbite 3?
I don't care about what engines it handles, man. It's going to be handling them Mario and Zeldas, and no, I don't care about that stuff. I got an Xbox One and a PS4 if I want anything like that. You want to
play Fallout 15 on the fucking shitter? That's what they have.
I'm not worried about that, man. I want to play that Zelda game. It looks amazing.
Guys told me, yeah, you're gonna be able to take these AAA console experience on the go. That was the selling goddamn point. That's
the Nintendo AAAs. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Motherfuckers be playing Zelda on top of a flagpole.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know how long people spend in the shitter, but it's like it's not an all-day ordeal for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna get. I don't know. It's just
Crap. Be on the shitter playing Zelda with his nostrils flared.
I'm gonna be playing that 1-2 switch. I'm gonna be fucking playing everything, man. All the games, bro.
Crap, I will come to Florida and find you. ass out there in the public park playing arms, swinging this shit.
That shit looks a little bit too tiring for me. So
Yo,
yeah,
your
probably.
days upon the land is numbered, brother. I see you out there wailing your arms and shit, playing motherfucker.
Hey, next gen gonna walk inside Kraft's apartment, but what the fucking holes everywhere and every wall.
Listen. I like the thing. I think it's cool for what it is. It's different. It's not very expensive. You know what I mean? I'm cool with that. I like the Nintendo stuff. The fact that I'm gonna. Here's the thing though. For me, I have one PS4 game ordered for this year. That's Horizon Zero Dawn. I already have that new Mario game. I have Zelda. I have Splatoon 2. I have Mario. I have the Mario Kart.
You gonna pay for it online too?
What's that? It's like $20 a year.
There's no voice chat if you don't know the person. You can't talk to them. There's only voice chat.
I gotta call you on three-way.
Yo, all I know is I'm just letting you know.
What?
If I see an unboxing video of Switch, I'm going over there to New Jersey. I'm gonna fucking do a video of me bashing your fucking Switch in the ground.
Yo, I told you guys, listen, if the Switch gets bought in his house, it won't be by me.
She's gonna be like, "Hey, Maya,
now listen, here's the thing. Listen,
tell everybody your mama bought the Switch."
Now listen, my wife, she will buy me one, but she's extremely cheap for herself. Okay, makes good money, but she's extremely cheap. She would buy me name brand shit, but go to Walmart and get her shit. She's
so basically, he's telling us that he already here, babe. Look what I got for you.
No, I'm not buying no.
You got to get me a Switch, but keep it on the down low.
I ordered this shit just popped up on my doorstep. I don't know what the
hell. I don't like Mario, and I ain't getting no AAA games either. No, you can keep it. But I mean, I get. Did we cover everything? Get the hell up out of here.
Go to the comment section real quick. Let's see what's going on.
Tim probably in the shitter again, but we cover everything.
Oh yeah, hold on. Halo 5 and Forza 5 aren't going to Steam. Just saying.
Agreed.
That was from this week. Well, it was last week. Someone posted an article. I sent you guys the picture that they had. Shit, I don't know, man. Hey, crap. This Microsoft. I don't know.
No, look. Here's the thing, right? Why would they fucking not release it on Windows 10 first, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And here's the thing. You have to remember that the Steam database, there was also Halo 3 listing for fucking forever. So I definitely don't think that
it may go to Windows 10, but we didn't think Quantum Break was going to goddamn Steam.
Well, Quantum Break is
is not Halo though.
Yeah, it's not it doesn't have a multiplayer aspect or anything. Microsoft, I don't think, would put that. Like, look, Killer Instinct isn't on Steam. They're not going to put like stuff like that on Steam. And why would you put Forza Motorsport 5 and not the Forza Apex? You know what I mean? So I think
man.
that
I said, man, I this new government we got to put at Microsoft. I never say never, man. Word up. You might see motherfucking what's that shit Conquer on the goddamn Switch. I don't know what the fuck's going on, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, at least somebody would do something with it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, that fucking tech demo was horrible. They had him looking like a goddamn crackhead.
I remember I made a video about that back in my fucking my Hollywood Hogan days where I was like, too sweet. And Tim was all like, no, man, Phil even said that they could still do something with that game. And that's just a tech demo.
They ain't doing shit.
Yeah, they ain't gonna do anything with it. But yeah, that was just like
Phil
I remember being
curses in the goddamn game. He was trying to water it down. Well,
hey, I get. I was so and still look. There's a lot to be. Some stuff to be. The problem with as being an Xbox fan like we are, the fans are so used to getting shit on. They don't want to hear that from the people like us.
Yeah, exactly.
It just seems like piling on. So I am kind of careful with what I say. Because people
listen, crap. Listen.
I agree. And there's a way to go about it. But again, constantly complaining is something that I'll never do. But there are a few things that they can work on.
Listen, we're not.
You're fair. You're fair.
Yeah.
I honestly, like,
crap.
We've talked.
We're all fair. We don't just go out there and crack the whip for nothing. You know what I mean? Like I've always said, Microsoft wounds have been self-inflicted. Like
it's like somebody goes like this to me. He goes, oh well, crap always damage controls. And I said, I said to the person, I said, I said, Crap is going to speak his mind, but he'll tell you that he'll damage control. Like remember when you said we would fucking come up with
Somebody's
something?
got to. Dude, yeah, me and Next Gen, right? Fucking right after Titanfall comes out, original, we were waiting in the fucking hangout, and Next Gen's like, holy shit, they lost. Yeah, he goes, they lost the MPD when we were talking all this shit about how they're gonna win the MPD when Titanfall 1 came out. It was an exclusive, it was gonna push 1 million Xboxes that month, and they fucking lost. And like 5 minutes before we go live, Next Gen's like, how the fuck are we gonna damage control this? And I was like, man, we'll think so. And I think I spun it into something positive, like, this is what I said. I said people that wanted to get an Xbox One for Titanfall did it previous months, so no big deal. You know what I mean? I was like,
but my point is that you keep the fans in consideration, and you like you just said that it seems like it's piling on. Like I see what we were talking and that we had a good beat, the BGST DM, and it was a good conversation. But I saw like your complaints, and they're very valid. But like you said, sometimes it's like, if you say it, then you become a bad guy, and then you like the fans, they feel like they shit on. And I understand, I agree, but it's
like I've said before, but if I can voice my opinion, I've been doing this since day one.
What's sad is that they don't want us to have. They don't want us to have our opinion. Or we should be able to do whatever. We should be able to make jokes. We should be able to do everything because they've all done that. But it's like for some reason, there's this backlash against crap, or even me, like I'm like, oh, if I tweet this, and sure enough, if I tweet something and it's like, something about like the resolution thing today, I get these Sony fanboys hitting me up, and it's just like, these guys are just, they're constant damage control, they're constant attacking, and I have to say, I appreciate that for crap that you come to the ballpark every day, and you do represent Xbox fans, and so do I. Like we try to make it.
Yeah, we all do. Even though I will say that we never claim to like specifically speak for Xbox community or anything like that. A lot of people are like, you don't speak for me, and I'm like, I never fucking claim to, asshole. Like seriously, I don't. The problem is that people apparently agree with us to an extent anyway. They maybe got tired for whatever reason. People watch us. Maybe it's to laugh at us. I'm fine with that. Maybe it's because they wanted to hear of somebody's voice and not talk bad about the Xbox 24/7, because if you go look on the internet, that's what you see for the most part. It's just bad talking, and we do like legitimate concerns, but a lot of the times we're just like talking up shit and people didn't even know, like, holy shit, like Xbox One can do that. I had so many people message me and tell me, man, I didn't even know Xbox One could do that. Or, yeah, man, good call on that game. Crap, it was actually pretty fucking good. Or that Elite controller's the shit, bro. Like that's the good stuff,
It's true. And shout out to Zaire. He was here before any of these people.
Yeah.
Before any of these YouTubers, before, these popular YouTubers. He was always there representing. And that's where, people say, people in the past said, well, why do you do this show? I said, I do that show. I do BGST. And I'm going to be honest, because of that man, Zaire. Because I remember when I was Facebook friends with him, and wasn't on Twitter. We didn't even know each other on Twitter. And, we became pretty cool on Facebook, and I used to watch his videos. And that was like the only thing that you could watch that was positive at that time.
Yep. Same thing. I was subscribed to the guy. I'm like, who's this crazy black dude? He's like,
door to door selling Bibles and shit.
Welcome to crappy reviews, where the games aren't always crappy, but the reviews usually are. Yeah. And so, and then I did one video where I'm like, I'm getting an Xbox One, not a PS4. I can only afford one. And Killer Instinct, Forza 5, Rise, Dead Rising 3 is a much better lineup, in my opinion, than Killzone and Knack. So people were like, kill yourself, drink bleach, motherfucker. Xbox is Microsoft trying to ruin gaming. They're taking your rights and all this shit. I was like, whoa. And then I guess Next Gen must have seen that video, and he's like, dude, you want to come on this podcast? And I was like, shit, man. I was like, oh, yeah.
Crap walks in, he gets put in an instant headlock.
Well, it's funny, right? Because a lot of people were always talking shit. They're like, man, once Crap gets 8,000 subs, he'll quit BGST. Once he gets to 10, he'll quit. You know what I mean? And it was never a question that. It's just because I was loyal. Because you guys don't know was like that everybody is so much there for everybody else in BGST. And it's like a lot of stuff behind the scenes and stuff too. It's like loyalty is a thing. And you really see it on BGST with these guys. So it's, that's why. And plus it's like, it's fun. And we get to sit here and talk games. And like tonight's show was funny as hell. We had some good moments and laughs, and we talk about Xbox. Look, I mean, anybody that just thought we damage control the whole show or whatever, I talked some bad stuff that I had problems with. I talked about how they're closing down some of the AA studios and shit like that.
Yeah.
Look,
how people are fucking streaming Nitho or streaming
Nutella.
They're like, hey, it's Niho, and all these other games or whatever. Yeah, or hey, this boost mode in PS4, it's gonna give me 120 frames, bro.
I mean, we went through a lot in the last 2 months. And it hasn't been easy, I would say, but we always kept together because of you guys, that come to listen to us. It wasn't easy doing the show after what happened, and we all, and I'm not gonna even say his name, but we all miss that guy, and we, I think people now realize that guy was better than pretty much anybody. More entertaining than anybody going, and that was taken away from us.
The charisma of a fucking cult leader, no shit.
And people don't know that it was hard for everyone that was a fan of the show. It was also hard for us, but we kept it going, and who knows what the future holds. But we come here to we're Xbox guys, and we're gonna if we see bullshit, we're gonna fight back against it. We're gonna push back against it, and we're gonna be there for you guys. We're not gonna one day just fucking flip the coin because we want attention and be PlayStation fanboys. We're not gonna do that.
That's not gonna happen.
You go to a camping ground, you see a whole bunch of blue tents, and there's only like 2 green ones. It sucks.
Exactly. Well, no, we're the refugees, guy. You gotta remember that, man. We're the refugee camp. Yeah, like that's. But yet we're the cancer, but we're the ones that were called refugees. So yeah.
I'm used to it now, Crap. It doesn't even bother me. Like, what's next?
We're the evils. I mean, like, hey, look, it's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, I think that a lot of people were inspired. But the inspiration of BGST is felt within all the communities, because there was no tons of podcasts and shit like that. And now there's one on every single night. So Next Gen has 20 of them.
I got another one tomorrow.
Tipping Hall last Tuesday on the show. He's cheating on us.
Tim double dipping.
I'm double dipping.
He's gonna grab TXR by the pussy.
Just taking shots at the TXR podcast. He's gonna grab him by the pussy.
Hey, Tim out there feeding both birds.
I told you, yeah, man. Tim's like, I don't envy you, dude. Doing back to back is rough.
Oh god.
Oh, that was a bad pass. That was a bad pass by.
I
need some of Zaire's Adderalls. I can't.
Tell me about it, man. Shit.
Dude, you need a lot of blow to get through that one, man.
I think Adderall and blow are the same thing. I don't know.
Probably.
Adderall, I don't know what the fuck. Adderall is just like an upper.
I can't believe they give that to kids. They give that to kids who have ADD. They give that to kids every single day.
They overdiagnose kids. They're like, oh, that kid's not paying attention to Adderall.
And then they wonder why the kid goes fucking crazy at fucking 4 o'clock when he hasn't had his fucking Adderall.
Exactly.
I don't know how to feel. I'm happy. I'm happy. You look kind of angry. I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun rocking out. Shout out to 314 people rocking out with us live on a Monday night. We appreciate it. Support us in everything that we do. We appreciate it. You got to go to the website. Shout out to Jay Williams. He made an awesome forums there. Go there and pop shit. We got some new members over there. And
hey, support Jay Williams' Patreon too. He's got a Patreon account. You guys can go support that shit and get like some artwork depending on what level you support him. He does so many graphics and artwork for the community.
Yeah,
man.
shouts out to Jay, man.
Well, yeah, if you donate $5, it's in your little Bible. They fit in your palm. The little one of those tiny Bibles. You take it in the front.
They come with a
Jay
chick
Williams, the hustler.
Well, he made Inferno a pretty good 8-bit avatar.
that shit was awesome. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
he is awesome. That, I didn't know he did that. That is awesome.
Yeah, he did. He did this Rhino redesign too, the albino Rhino with my authentic Gears of War.
Yo, hey,
I love
crap,
it.
listen. We fall out, yo, I'm gonna take you to court. I'm gonna sue you, bro. Albino Rhino.
Hey, I got a quick
Hey
question.
man, it's stuck though. The fucking name's stuck, man.
I got a quick question before we leave. Okay.
What's up?
Yeah.
And that's for a reason. What would you guys think if Coalition Games stopped? They didn't do Gear. They took a break and did another game. Would you rather them do Gear 6 right at
No.
Gears 5 right after
No.
Gears, or would you rather them venture into a new IP?
New IP.
Okay.
I
Gears-
told listen, hey Tim. Remember, I asked you guys this about a month and a half ago. I said, "What would you like to see Turn 10 Studios do outside of Forza, 343 do outside of Halo, and the
343
Coalition
will
would
never
do
do outside of
Gears?"
Halo.
Yeah, I do, but I think that they need to give Halo, Gears,
Break.
even though they are
break.
different, give them a break.
Why not
Well,
get?
the name
Why not get a
343
new? Just do a new. Well, the Coalition is Gears. It's a fucking Gears cog.
But there's,
You
what
know?
I'm saying is,
could do a
see
spin-off.
what happened with a Destiny, right? How they had this big major hit or whatever the fuck Destiny sitting on the back burner, which they wanted to do, and Microsoft kind of dicked them around. You know what I mean? You gotta let them. You know, don't. We don't need a Gears or a Halo every other year. They can support those games with DLC.
What
And-
Microsoft
and
needs to
they go
do
forward
is
backwards
start
compatible.
a new AAA studio, a big one, like Black Tusk was
Yeah,
originally
but
going to be. You saw,
Look what Naughty Dog does, Tim. Naughty Dog does Uncharted, and they got
But
The Last of Us.
they have two different teams now, though. That's why.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying what they do. I don't know who works there, but they can.
Yeah.
under
And
that
The
same-
Last of Us was going to be. They were actually going to maybe do a new Ratchet and Clank reboot, and then they decided to do a new IP instead. But for the most part, it's like I think you gotta have Gears. Like, why not do both? They're Microsoft. Make a new studio. Like the Black Tusk.
I think they should build a new studio. To be honest.
Yeah, look, Black
Well,
Tusk.
whatever. I'm
I
just
posted
saying,
that
I
article
don't
from
need another Halo next
2012.
Yeah, I
They-
saw
they were
that.
like-
That's why.
Yeah,
I
it's
kinda,
yeah. And I was like, look, their original studio head was like, yeah, we're tasked with building the next game. We're gonna make the next Halo or Gears, but not Halo or Gears. It's gonna be the big AAA game, you know. And then they ended up just doing Gears, which is fine because I like Gears. It's like my favorite franchise, but they gotta have another hit maker, is what I'm maybe two.
Mhm.
You know, you gotta have. You can't
we
just
don't know
keep
unless they
bouncing.
make something, though, Tim. I mean, crap. They
Yeah,
gotta-
but
they-
you know, look, that's an established
Well,
franchise.
it's-
People
All
buy
right,
it.
let me ask you a question, okay? And this is before we go because I gotta go cheat on BGST. But if let's say Scorpio's a hit, it's a hit, and let's just say that they had a decent E3, you know, it was like a thing. Now they're moving the whole, and they're gonna need games. What would you do if you were them? Would you build out studios? What do you think that they're gonna do? Let's just pretend Scorpio's a huge hit, and everything's going to thing. How are they going to make the games? Do you think that
I think you
what do
have to plan. You have to plan in advance for it to be a hit, because if you wait for it to be a hit and then you build studios, you're looking at least a couple of years before you get in some
Who
games.
cares? Put out trailers. Just Sony does it.
But you don't want to be like Sony, man.
they're
I don't
gonna
like that.
they're gonna end up doing that?
Yeah,
they're
well,
gonna
have to.
end
They
up
gotta build the
doing
hype,
that.
man.
I don't like. Look, I know, Tim, you're like, keep your expectations in check, but I would fucking seriously be shocked if we didn't see some kind of at least CG trailer for a Fable reboot this year at E3, and it's gonna and I think people are gonna be surprised, and you know what I mean. I think that, and I've heard some new IP stuff, rumors as well. So I think it's gonna be a fucking huge E3, because look, they have to show off new stuff, because the stuff that we know that's coming, like Halo Wars 2, they can't show that anymore because we've already seen it. So you have to do more than just the 4 other games.
Agreed.
You know, there's going to be other stuff. Like, people are just assuming we know what's coming or whatever. We're going to get some glimpses into stuff coming. They will mix it up a little bit now that the narrative has changed and apparently CGI trailers from years out is allowed again. Like, but watch Microsoft get shit for it, right? They're like,
Oh, they
did you
will.
see Microsoft do that? You know, yeah. So I don't know, but we do got to get the fuck out of here. It's like 10.
Good show tonight, guys.
Yeah, good. It was actually a fucking really good show. Thanks all day for sitting in.
Oh,
Appreciate
for
it.
sure, man. No problem.
We love it.
He's the black crap gamer.
Yeah. Fuck you, K Megan. Out there fucking
Building
a tree
houses
out,
with
you
his
country
with fucking
bastard.
calf muscles. Get the fuck out.
They say he out there hurting
Drinking
grass.
drywall smoothies. Get the fuck.
It's duck season. No, it's rabbit season. Elmer foot ass nigga.
That
Get out here.
motherfucker, that motherfucker don't even cook it. He just fucking eats it raw.